Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. Going to do a quick video on Revelation chapter 17, and we're going to talk about the decline of civilization. I have some video clips that I want to show y'all and talk about some things. But before I do that, I want to just set the mood. Give me a second. Hopefully, everybody out there is doing all right. Hopefully you was able to wash your ass today, things of that nature. And yeah, man, the energy is the energy. You gotta learn how to roll with it or get rolled over at this particular point. One's in the chat if you gotta roll with the energy or just get rolled over. So what we about to do, set the move, get you in the ooh type shit. Right. Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. Cut this. Ooh, get the vibes a little bit better. It's always good to have a little bit of vibration set in the mood. Alright. So we live in a postmodern world that's really set on sexual liberation and sexual freedom. And the internet talks a lot about this type of stuff, but growing up in the hood, you've seen it firsthand where, people could just basically do what they want, have as many boyfriends as they want, dating apps, social media, whole culture, all of this type of stuff. And to summarize it, it breaks down into the ego. And when we talk about the ego, we're talking about the decline of civilization, right? Period, point blank. And so the Bible does a good job of disguising the ego as an abomination by calling it a whore, right? But you got to understand that we are living in the Bible, right? The Bible reveals itself to the people around us. So not only can we discuss the scripture, we can also bear witness to scripture in our everyday lives based on the people that we come in contact with. And so the Bible is a metaphysical document. Metaphysical meaning that it takes you, the listener, the reader, to understand it. So we're going to skip around, bip around, and bop around. I'm going to show y'all how this shit shows up in real life. And then I'm going to show y'all some videos and react to those videos once I bibbity bop, zig, and zag. All right, so boom. It's a mini The Truth is Stranger Than Fiction Barbie edition, but I didn't have nothing really planned. It's just going to be more of a stream of consciousness to help us understand the energy that's taking place in the world as we are in the midst of it, right? So boom. One of the seven angels who had seven bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute who sits by many waters." So many people have taken this scripture literally, and this is where they fuck up at, right? The Bible is not talking about a specific prostitute or a specific whore, right? In the King James Version, it is, "I will show you the punishment of the great whore who sits by many waters." However, it's not talking about no specific girl around the block. It is talking about the ego. It is talking about the ego. So boom, let's read this again. Understand that the Bible is a metaphysical scripture book that helps you understand your chakras, understand your spiritual life. This is why, especially Revelation, because Revelation is revealing you who you are based upon your chakras. If you need a reference for that, Zachary Lansdowne, the Revelation of St. John. Okay, need to have that. You need to have that in them days and times, because we literally are living in them days and times. I've been talking about this book for years, but it's more of a prophetic book more than it is anything. So boom. One of the seven angels. This is one of the chakras, right? Mainly your sacral chakra that deals with the waters, the emotional body. Who had seven bowls, because a bowl is a container for the water, right? To understand your life, you're going to have to understand your emotions. You don't need to understand other people's emotions. You don't need to understand your mom's emotions. You need to understand your own emotions, because your emotions prop up the ego. This is why the great prostitute sits by many waters. If you would be hard pressed to find a hoe sitting at a beach. One's in the chat if y'all understand how unrealistic it is to see a great prostitute sitting at a beach. I need y'all to actually read this with y'all eyes. Open up your mind, drink some coffee, wake up. We having a real discussion here. The Bible says that it's going to be a great prostitute by many waters. And so would you go to a lake and see a great prostitute? No, you wouldn't see that. If you go to a beach, would you see a great prostitute? No, you wouldn't see that. If you went to a river, would you see a great prostitute? No, you would not see that. Thus, it is talking about something metaphysical. The waters being the emotions, and the great prostitute being the ego. That is the great prostitute. Listen, why is the ego a great prostitute? Because your ass is going to work. You gonna be a good hoe, right? A lot of y'all is at work right now being a good hoe. Go and make that fucking money for daddy type of shit. A good hoe for the establishment. A good hoe for your business, for your community. A good prostitute. And the reason why you would be such a good hoe is because your emotional connection to your pimp, i.e. your job, i.e. your church, or whoever you being a good hoe for. With her, the kings of the earth committed adultery. So what is the kings of the earth? The kings of the earth is you as a spiritual being. But since you don't understand yourself to be a spiritual being, you commit adultery. By what? Being a hoe. Being a slave to the society. Working a 9 to 5, and there's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5, but we're talking about the ego's motivations based upon emotional fears, anxieties, and triggers, things of that nature. And so when we talk about this great prostitute, i.e. the ego that is connected to our emotions, as we read further, the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries. So what we're talking about is a spirit. What we're talking about is an energy. That means it affects everybody. The spirit of Barbello, or the spirit of the ego, it affects everybody. And this is the time and year for this. Because let's deal with this. What we're talking about is Babylon. Okay? What we're talking about is Babylon. How do we know that we're in Babylon? Let's go 2023 Barbie. Okay? This is the real. This affects everybody. They showing me the latest Barbies. I don't want to see the latest Barbies. I want to say 2023 comedy movie Barbie. One of the biggest movies of the year. Okay, how does Barbie... First off, let's deal with this. Who is Barbie based off of? Who is Barbie Barbie based off of? Gotta do some research because they like to give you the fake story. Bill Lilly was a German comic strip character created for the newspaper Bild Zeitung. She was sassy and raunchy, and she has been described as a prostitute. The basis of Barbie is a prostitute. But we don't need to stop there because we're talking about the inhabitants of Earth that are intoxicated with the wine or the spirit of her adulteries. Y'all was taking y'all kids to see Barbie. I seen y'all on y'all IG stories. Don't lie. You indoctrinating your kids with prostitute culture and do what you do. No judgment, no shame for me. But it won't be no Barbies in this house. All right, so let's do this. We still talking about Babylon. Barbie, Barbello. Could you see how you could get Barbie and Barbello? Barbie could be, you know how Anthony, you might call a nigga Tony. Your name Bethany, they might call you Beth. One's in the chat if you understand how Barbie could be a play on Barbello. Barbie could be like a short name or a pet name for Barbello. One's in the chat if that makes sense to you. Because then we got to deal with the etymology of Barbello if Barbie could be related to Barbello. Because I don't want to jump off no cliffs and sound like a crazy person. So, one's in the chat if Barbie could be the same as Barbello. This is a quote from Barbello. I'm going to read to y'all real quick. I am the mother of creation. I am the perfect image of God, born of his reflection. We are one eternally united as the father and the mother, with our son being the neutrality that exists between us, being the androgynous neutral principle between the masculine and feminine principles. I am God, and at the same time, I am distinct from him. I am the Father, Mother, and Son, three times saint. I am the Holy Spirit. I am Barbello. Just all I want to do is connect Barbello to Babel. Babel in the book of Baruch of the Gnostic Justin, the name of the first 12 maternal angels. She is identical with Aphrodite and is enjoined by her mother to cause adultery and desertions among men. In revenge for Eden's desertion by Elohim, the 12 evil angels of creation, the maternal angels, Babel, now identical with Umphail, beguiles and enfeebles him. She may possibly be the Balti or female bow, and the whole possible to take Babel, confusion, as a form of Barbello. Babel, which means confusion, as a form of Barbello, which may have the same meaning. So, what will tend to happen is that we look at this as separate things, like Barbello, Babel, Babylon are three separate things, but they're not. They're the same concept. And then at a deeper level, spirituality, spiritual development. What's the antagonist to you spiritually developing? It is Barbello, Babylon, Babel, confusion. And the Bible does a good job of laying out exactly what this prostitute is, because even the Bible says it in plain English. Let me see if I can find it in the same chapter. It says, the angels you saw, hold on, let me show it to y'all. In verse 15, it says, the angels you saw, the waters you saw, where the prostitute sits, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and languages. It says it right in front. It says it in plain English. The waters you saw where the prostitute sits, it's not literal. It's symbolic for the peoples, multitudes, nations, and languages. So, going further, it says the beast and the 10 horns you saw will hate the prostitute. They will bring her to ruin and leave her naked. All talking about your ego. They will eat her flesh and burn her with fire, for God has put it into their hearts to accomplish his purpose by agreeing to hand over the beast their royal authority until God's words are fulfilled. The woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth. So when you read this chapter, you gotta really get past the initial layer that they're trying to lay out. And then if you get past that initial layer, what are they actually talking about? They're talking actually about the city that you live in, right? And how it rules over the kings of the earth. The kings of the earth just represent your potential. And you cannot realize your potential by being a slave to the ego. And so it becomes to be one of the most serious things that has really happened in a short amount of time with young women. There are over 187 million registered users of OnlyFans. Nearly 200 million people who have convinced themselves that the vessel is it. And of course, everybody on OnlyFans ain't doing sexual stuff, but a majority of the people on OnlyFans are. All I'm saying is that how is 200 million people, let's just say 100 million people, able to be in the same place doing the same thing? Well, the Bible tells you how. The Bible tells you how. The Bible says the inhabitants of earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries. That's why in every ghetto, it's a beauty supply store. And in the suburbs, it ain't so much of beauty supply stores. That's why in the ghetto, it's wine liquor stores. But in the suburbs, it ain't that many liquor stores. McDonald's is in the ghetto. I mean, it's a McDonald's in the suburbs, but not really. It's not that intense. Because when we talk about the inhabitants of the earth, which is the reality, we can also talk about the kings of the earth, which is our potential. But how do we get to our potential? We got to stop being hoes for the system. Listen, you are a spiritual being and you got a good ass job. You need to look in the mirror and come to that reality. I am a hoe for this job. I am a hoe for this city. I pay my taxes. I work. I go home. I go to sleep. I wake up. I work. I go home. I go to sleep. That's hoe activities. That's hoe-tivities. And it's a deep setup, because in Barbie, if you watch the movie, it was men and women in there, and the men was confused and the women was confused. Listen, if Babel means confusion, watch Barbie and tell me that them hoes is not confused about everything. Everything about that movie is people being confused. And we on the fourth wall looking at these confused characters, but this is a microcosm of a larger macrocosm of we are all confused. We are not living to our full potential as kings of the earth. Why? Because we have no idea about the 7 angels who had 7 bowls. I seen somebody on YouTube yesterday talk about 14 chakras, as if the number matters. You can say it's 28 chakras, but we still haven't gotten to the chakra nova aspect of it now, have we? Have we connected those chakras to endocrine glands and meditated upon those endocrine glands till we get to the realization of what those endocrine glands are needing to conquer, whether it be in safety, emotional regulation, projecting yourself, unconditional love, speaking your truth, connecting to your spiritual self, and just radiating in all of that energy at the same time? Or are you counting the chakras? If you really listen to what I'm saying, you will understand what I'm trying to say in a world where everybody is trying to confuse you. I'm not trying to entertain you. I'm literally trying to enlighten you. And that is some shit that most people will never fucking do. Because we live in Babylon. The internet is Babylon. The world is Babylon. It is set out to confuse you from the jump. If you don't acknowledge that, you are moving along in life in a space where you are off path, off tracks. Pardon the segue, shameless plug, but make sure you join the Substack, because when we get into the astrology of things, it's like one or two things. You either on your path or off your path. I explain that in the Substack. Join the Substack, right? If the link ain't in the description, it will be, right? It's a free article, weekly astrology. But I'm putting out the information and I'm talking about it like, man, it's sad. Really. It's sad that people don't understand how serious this motherfucker is. It's sad that motherfuckers think that it's time to play and that spirituality is some form of a game or something that you can take or leave. Or niggas will sit and talk about chakras and count the numbers as opposed to making the correlation to the human body and sticking to it. Same way as 4 degrees is 4 degrees, 100 degrees is 100 degrees. Conscious niggas will start talking about how you could, change the temperature if you just, count it differently. If you do the right ritual, you can actually turn winter into summer or something like that. And look, man, the best thing you could do is observe. Once you get to a certain level of spirituality, crown chakra activation, all you are doing is observing and reflecting. You become more like a tree than you become like anything. Because the ego says, the prostitute says, I need to work. I need to be put out there. I ain't doing enough. What's wrong with me? I need a man. I need this. I need that. I need this and that. I need that, this and that too. A spiritual being, an enlightened being, simply observes and reflects. Because to observe and to reflect is the same as a nigga out here doing the most, making all the money, showing you. Diddy showed you. Diddy showed us. Millennials, Diddy showed us exactly what not to do. Did y'all hear about him and TD Jakes? They said TD Jakes was a power bottom. They said Diddy and TD Jakes was, making it happen together. You got to be careful on Twitter. You'll be scrolling on Twitter and come smack dab right into some porn. So if my live just cut off automatically, that's because Twitter did some crazy shit. You can't just be on Twitter. You be at work on Twitter. Niggas would think you was class A freak. Like, what's wrong with that new dude y'all hired? Nigga was watching porn. Let's listen to TD Jakes real quick.
Would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and you
Taraji P. Henson. Like, everybody is telling you right now that the math ain't mathing, right? Everybody is telling you right now that the math ain't mathing, but you still trying to figure this shit out. Now, when Monique did her thing on Netflix and said these people ain't paying us right. Everybody turned on Monique. DL Hughley was like, Monique, you need to chill. Come to find out, they did a whole actors and writers strike. All of your favorite actors talking about how broke they is. And all I'm saying is, it's people that dead ass look up to these people. Fame mongers, fame seekers, people who got the clout. Listen, you can have all the clout in the world. If your business ain't in order, you ain't got no money. And I really need y'all to really pay attention to how motherfuckers is not talking about how you don't need no man and how being independent is the way to go. You really need to get up out of that sexual revolution shit, because I mean, if you grew up in the ghetto like I grew up in the ghetto, you ain't know no better. You seen your aunties do it, you seen your sister do it, you probably seen your mama do it, so you went ahead and did it. But now we got to get into a science of spirituality, chakra work, so we can begin to attract our lifelong partner. And understand that, like, if you are operating outside of spirituality and you like, well, I had to get the money like Diddy, you gonna be in the same situation like Diddy. Niggas talking about you and TD Jakes was power bombing each other. I don't even know how to say it, let alone the visual of Diddy and TD Jakes getting it in is crazy. Cause the ego says she loves me, she wanna be with me, she gonna always be in pocket. But the reality is Cassie turning in information to the feds. The same thing that happened to R. Kelly, the same thing that happened to Bill Cosby, the same thing that happened to Tory Lanez, the same thing that happened to Jonathan Majors, the same thing that happened to the dude that did Nat Turner is going to happen to Diddy. The same thing that happened to Lil Wayne. All these dudes, Young Thug, they gonna build you up and they gonna take you down. That's what the ego, and these niggas sign up for this shit. These niggas sign up for the ego. And then you hop on the roller coaster and then you wanna look sad on somebody's podcast. The math ain't mathing. We either going to have a spiritual way of looking at this, or we not going to be able to see it. We going to always, you going to do the same thing your aunties did. Listen, the sad shit about this system is that motherfuckers will hope, pray, and wish they whole fucking lives. I'm old enough, I'm 39 years old, so I done seen niggas hope, wish, and pray to a God that never answered they shit, and they ended up dying. Meaning the nigga never came through. I've seen and witnessed it with people that's super close to me. So you can't say that religion is the answer. You can't say that entertainment, money, success is the answer. You actually gonna have to get off your black ass and meditate. Clear your mind. And once again, we go through the whole science of it in Chakra Nova. Everything starts off being calm and relaxed. So everything set in this table off is dealing with the sacral chakra. And it's hard to have a sacral chakra conversation with people that are sexually active. Because when the Bible was written and the spiritual understandings was taking place, most of y'all wasn't out here having multiples upon multiples of relationships. Because every relationship comes with its certain forms of traumas and triggers and things that you need to work through. The problem is y'all gonna act like y'all don't even have to deal with none of the shit that you dealt with from these niggas because you got a little money. at a job. That's the great prostitute working in full effect. When you, as a human being, did not prioritize love and spirituality, but you prioritize money and then tried to double back on love, like because you work so hard, that love should be afforded to you. That's the crazy part. So let's look at Taraji P. Henson talk about some real life shit.
Are you thinking about it? I'm just. Are you thinking about it? I'm just tired of working so hard, being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over. You get tired. I hear people go, "You work a lot." Well, have to. The math ain't mathing.
Now I want y'all to pay attention though. I want y'all to pay attention though. I don't want y'all to be on some cry for me Argentina shit, because feminism, the sexual revolution, it promotes women working, getting an honest, square, fair wage up until you don't want to work no more. They don't talk about how you got to be consistent, monotonous. You got to work every single day because the math don't never math. Hey, all I'm saying is, let me be born into the 40s and 50s. I'm choosing homemaker. I'm choosing domesticator. Domestic. What the fuck? I'm not about to work at no fucking job. Be a fucking actress. Cause I'm gonna get tired of that shit. And then you get tired of it. And then the hard part is that you don't got shit to fall back on. You don't got shit to fall back on besides what you got to fall back on right now. So be careful. So once again, I'm gonna react to 2 more videos and then I'm gonna get up out of here. But we gotta get into understanding this world that we live in, the people, the nations, the multitudes, through ourselves, through our spiritual development, because working hard for this system and this system about to fall, the way that I'm feeling about shit, like I really hope we can make it until, like, I know this sounds crazy what I'm about to say, but I really sincerely hope we can make it until 2024. We need Trump back in office, because this nigga that we got into the office right now, I known it from the beginning. I've said it from the very start. This dude that's our president is a whole nother level of evil. And Trump might not be the best person in the world, but this shit is crazy. This shit is beyond crazy. And the way things were. But then at the same time, the crazy part about it is that until the whole world see the evil that's taking place, like, we do not need to be divided on this shit that's taking place in this world. We need to actually be united on the fuck shit. We don't have to be like, well, You know, they can think what they can think over there, and that, no, we gotta actually denounce this shit, or else the way, cause we so divided. This nigga Biden done sent trillions of dollars to Ukraine, money that could have helped the communities. So people talk about, you know, Trump like he ain't shit, but y'all niggas was getting PPP loans. Y'all niggas was getting stimulus checks. Y'all was getting the free food stamps. Now is nothing but home. Like if it's hot, like if you live in an area where you can live outside and you ain't working your ass off, you living outside. You living outside. It's hundreds of thousands of people in California living outside. Arizona, living outside. Old people. You know how real it is? If you don't got no parents, if you don't got no children to take care of you, you probably not being able to be taken care of, because the senior citizen homes, if you got $800 a month, they'll hike your rent up to $1,500 a month and evict your old ass. They'll evict your old ass, nigga. And you ain't got no sons to come rescue you, no daughters to come rescue you. Your old ass is going to a homeless shelter. So it's plenty of old people living on the streets because they can't afford to even live in the old folks' home. The rich people of the world live in the United States. The poor people that live in this country, they cannot afford to live in this country. And because they can't afford to live in the country, they are on the fucking streets. That's the world that we live in. Niggas talk about spiritual this and spiritual that. It's not going to erase the facts. It's not going to wipe over the truth. And as long as you keep covering over the truth, the longer you're going to create the situations for which you're going to be immersed in the truth, and you're going to be on somebody's podcast crying. I'm going to be on somebody's podcast crying. Shit, this shit don't escape me. I'm not like, it's crazy out here. But you better have somebody that you willing to work with and build with to go above and beyond, or else you're going to be sunken under. You can't live on the bare minimum in 2023, nor can you live in a bare minimum of 2024, because the things that you think is just going to be coming to you, once they stop coming to you, if you don't have no real skills, talents, of abilities, you're going to be like, what the fuck am I going to do? They just put out a movie called Leave the World Behind, where they did predictive programming to let you know, in this world, all of the shit you like, Wi-Fi, electricity, all of this type of shit that you just comfortable with is not going to be here. And the world going to go crazy because of it. They going to turn on each other. And the shit that you take for granted, your phone, your laptop, all of this shit, is you super dependent on it. And when it's going away, you going to literally go crazy. That's the prostitute.
Marketplace. What the fuck? Don't worry, I'm not really talking to. A lot of things will be hard for you to comprehend. That's why you're in sex work, because you can't offer value in the marketplace. What the fuck? Don't worry, I'm not really talking to you. I'm speaking against you as a symbol. Mm-hmm. So don't take personal offense to it. As a symbol, which is what? A symbol of what? A symbol of a declining society where people lack values. Mm-hmm. So the point is this. If you had IQ and skills to offer to the marketplace, you can earn a good income. Being that the most valuable thing about you is something that you never earned. You didn't earn knowledge, you didn't earn skills. It's your breast that you paid for and your butthole. So you market that to earn money. If I took your brain and placed your brain into a man's body, you would be in poverty.
I'm just good for nothing. Yep, you comment.
No, you are good for something. That's why you have OnlyFans. And that's my point, is that
And a lot of people will say, that's not me. I don't be like that. I don't do that. And you evade the discussion. You evade the spirit. Because I'm not selling my ass either. From time to time, I sell my ass on Craigslist. You can look me up, Snickers. I got $59.99 specials. But beyond that, I'm not selling my ass. But I can understand the sentiment. I can understand the spirit. I can understand the millions of young women that do not stand a chance because they don't see any value to them beyond their sexual parts. And then when you talk about, okay, don't sexualize yourself, you go to the whole other extreme of working. Well, it's got to be a middle point where sexuality and prosperity and manifestation through, supporting your relationship. Not supporting your relationship in a distant aspect where it's his thing or what they got going on. It's what we got going on and becoming an integral part or process into the success of your family. Because the thing about growth, if you don't work towards growth every single day, every step of the way, every minute of the way, every second of the way, you're not actually growing. And when you think about your emotions simply propagate the ego. That's what your emotions are for. So it's millions of men and women that don't stand a chance because they're chasing after each and every emotion that they are dealing with, trying to suppress it, trying to repress it, but not trying to understand it, not trying to overcome it, not trying to vanquish it. What Zachary Lansdowne teaches is how to show you that your emotions don't actually mean anything. And this is key because it allows you to enter into the spiritual kingdom. But up until the point that you relieve or vanquish all of your emotions, you're going to give your authority to your emotions and your desires. But none of these are a part of the spiritual life. So I'm gonna react to one more video. This is an interesting video of how easy it is to get lost in this civilization and culture and society based upon the technology. So let's talk about it.
So you're telling me that, say that again so I can answer right. Go ahead.
I said I could get fucked online 1,000 times that night. You go out there and fuck in real life, you could bring me back a STD. The only thing I'm gonna bring in this motherfucking relationship is a bag.
And I've seen a lot of videos like this where sex is like this thing that puts you on a pedestal. It's something that's gonna make you a lot of money. And the reality is like, yeah, it's hoes out here that's making a lot of money, but they don't look halfway decent. They look better than halfway decent. And the chicks that look halfway decent that get into sex work, it's hard. So it's better to get a job at McDonald's. You make more money. So now what we're talking about is something specific. The specific nature of what we're talking about is this. The inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries. Meaning that the ego will have you thinking that you about to start an OnlyFans, run up a bag, and you about to do all of this crazy shit on OnlyFans. and not make nothing. So it be girls who say, "Oh, I'll start an OnlyFans." You might as well not do it. You might as well get a job. But the ego will say, "I can do it because I'm a woman, and dudes want to have sex with me." So put yourself on this pedestal, and this is what you bringing into a relationship. The math is not mathing.
The motherfucking fact the only way you could get a bag is with your pussy is pissing me off right now. Talk about getting bags. Your pussy, your ass, and your titties get talked involved. That's the reason why all these women out here doing all this extra whole shit.
He said that's the reason that all these women are out here doing this extra whole shit. What I'm saying is the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries. And when you talk about the wine, you talk about the spirit. So even your daughter, I was having a conversation about leggings. And the girl said, my parents told me that I shouldn't wear leggings, but I carry leggings in my book bag anyways. And once I got to school, I just put my leggings on anyway. Meaning, you could tell your daughters not to be hoes, but they will get intoxicated with the wine. The spirit, it's like it simmers through the atmosphere and intoxicates your mind. And you got women who are not hoes, because what is a hoe? A hoe is a girl who have sex for money. And that sex that she make is her business. So that means that when she need to make money, she having sex. So she can have sex 10 times a day. Some women, you could have rough sex with them, have sex for an hour long. And then if you a high viral type of man, you will try to have sex the second time, and their skin is raw to the touch. A hour long sex could pay her walls become a little raw to touch, meaning that if she wanted to be a prostitute, her body wouldn't even physically allow her to be one, because after an intense sexual section, and you got to understand, these women is having sex multiple times with condoms. That's establishing a deeper and darker criminal link right there. And it's not for the faint of heart. It's not nothing glamorous about having sex with a stranger for money. But the wine intoxicates the minds of these people to now they think that it's all about getting a bag. A bag constitute to what? Babylon. Why? Because it is the great city, and the great city imposes taxes, rent. And I'm going to tell you how Babylon don't care. If Babylon cared, it would have not raised the rates of these old folks' homes and put hundreds of thousands of goddamn old people on the streets who haven't been working for years. These old people can't get no jobs. They've been on disability since you've been born. And then to turn around and tell them, I don't know what to tell you. It's a homeless shelter down the way. You can go live on a cot. That's Babylon for you. And we young, so we are not preparing for how fucked up it's going to be. Listen, from 60 to 90 is 30 years. If you got 30 years in prison, you would be like, God damn, that's a long ass time. So a lot of people is not prepared for a long ass time in securing your relationships, making sure you got children, making sure your children love you, support you, want the best for you, making sure your children is in a position to be maybe one day take care of you in a space where you can't take care of yourself. You might have to take care of your kids for 20 some odd years. And then from the time that they 30 to 60, right, they might need to take care of you for 30 some odd years. That's how this shit goes. But society have gotten people so caught up in where they living, how they living, that their relationships and maintaining those relationships is not even a conversation that we can have. You go out on a date with somebody, and I guarantee you they're gonna be an airhead. I guarantee you, most people you deal with is deaf, dumb, and confused.
You would set a better example and find another way to get money besides selling pussy, feed pics, and all this other shit doing with sex. These women would be on a better fucking path. You want to talk shit about a nigga, but it's your goddamn reason why these young hoes don't want to settle down, because they can sell pussy like boss goddamn thing. You need to.
Now, he's saying it's a better way. When I was in sex work, somebody told me sex work is for when you in survival mode. It didn't make sense to me. Now that I've grown and matured, I understand that I'm not totally closed off to sex work as being a viable form of income, but on top of sex work, there's many different things you could do as multiple streams of income. Like if you sell feet pics, or you got an OnlyFans, and that's a stream of income. At the end of the day, if you get income from it, then cool. Cause if you need a fucking chicken sandwich tonight and you call me and I'm asleep, that means you're gonna go to sleep hungry. But if you sell some goddamn feet pics and get $25 for them fucking feet pics, at least you can get your ass a chicken sandwich. But understand, that's survival mode. When you talk about real life creation and the things that is possible between black women, black men, friends, and family, is all opportunities to run up a crazy bag on family recipes, inventions, technology, apps, things of that nature. Selling pussy is what we do when we don't have nothing, or you at the low and you need to build yourself up. Like you can get into sex work, make a certain amount of money, and be done with it. But it's not something that you tell. It's always been hoes, but we always understood the hoes to be the hoes, and the majority of the women was not hoes. We are now living in a time. If you not a hoe and you don't understand the hoe culture, the fact still remains that a majority of the young women that are coming up, they're wearing wigs and they're acting like hoes, and they're free to have sex with anybody they want to have sex with, but then have not even the slightest clue on how to maintain and sustain relationships, not even the slightest clue of what a man wants. I just showed a meme on Instagram where all the dudes asked what type of body type they wanted, and every dude said natural. They then asked the women, what do you think a man wants as a body type? And all of them said BBL. So that, and I'm just going to say that the average person don't care what the average man truly wants or truly desires. To whereas you could easily show up for a man if you just know the basics of what a man wants. Relationships is always going to be some shit that's always going to have you hitting your head if you don't even know what a man wants at the basic levels. Basic level is natural body, natural fit body. If you got a natural fit body at a base level, you are attractive to a man. You can get in the door with a fit body. What then is the problem? When you are unfit. You could be the greatest woman, greatest personality, sensual, smooth, good pussy, great everything, but if you're not fit, you're going to have a harder time with attracting a man. But these types of conversations, people get triggered, people get sensitive, and people walk around arrogant, imagining that a nigga just gonna come and love them one day, and you not even dealing with the basics. That's why when you watch some shit happen and unfold between, you know, girls 600 pounds, lose 400 pounds, she happy. You know why she happy? Because the way that niggas is looking at her and the way that niggas is receiving her. Because you could be a goddamn robot if you think you a robot, but at the end of the day, nobody gonna like being overweight and ignored by men versus being somebody that is like sexually desirable. At a base level. When y'all get dressed up and go out and throw on your nice dresses, you don't be like, you don't throw on fucking sacks and cloths and wear sweatpants or no shit like that. You wear shit that show off your figure and your frame. When you are looking good, you feel better. Basic. But people then take basic and make it extreme by then saying, well, I look basic good, let me start selling pussy. And it's a huge conflation. You can look basic and start a business. You could do it so much, and he's about to explain all of the different things you could do besides sell pussy.
Stop telling me about selling fucking pussy every 5 minutes. Every time it's something to do with money, like these women can't open a business and 3 fucking ladies sell goddamn buttercream. No, you gotta sell pussy because you don't know anything else to sell around this motherfucker. You need to get a bomb of weed or something, bitch. Goddamn. God damn, man. Fuck.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Trigger.
So yeah, man. It's hard living in this life. You face with a lot of stuff, and it's a real live war taking place. It's been a real live war. It's just that now the things that we got comfortable with are being taken away from us, and we need to start talking about things that work. We need to start having the conversations about things that work, truthful conversations, and because the thing about being a prostitute and being a hoe is that you don't get nothing from it. I known people that worked their whole lives and got shit from it. I know people that went to church their whole lives and got shit from it. Followed these ideologies and got shit from it. So at a certain point, you got to start to talk about shit that works. So that's all I'm about. But my whole thing about shit that works and the thing about the difficulties about spirituality is that I cannot do it for nobody. Everybody have to do it for themselves, and everybody have to look at their challenges, their barriers, they mental health, their mental illness, and they got to be real about it, and they have to attack it, they have to fight. Because if you don't attack and you don't fight, it wins. So we created a whole system, we created a whole website, we created a whole conversation around microdosing. Cause it's like, man, I've lived the life and lived in a world where I had to fight, you know? My whole life I had to fight. And really, nothing has helped me. For real. When you fighting and you trying stuff and you doing different placebos, it's like spirit have always nudged me and had me keep going, keep pushing, keep progressing, keep learning. But now I'm to the point where, like, we do different things at White Rabbit Psychedelics. We're just not selling mushrooms. We got capsules. So Euphoria capsules, Cloud9 capsules, Stem and Stack capsules. I'm really into infusing psychedelics. Um, at my home, we'll have fresh squeezed juices, and we'll infuse the fresh squeezed juices with psilocybin. More like an elixir, more like an alcoholic beverage. You feel me? That's the type of energy and time we on. So really having fun and understanding what psilocybin is and how much of a recreational substance it is, but also a medicinal substance. And for me, like, it has been nothing more than life changing. Y'all know me, y'all know how I get down, y'all know I'm passionate about the shit that I'm passionate about. And for me, psychedelic exploration, cultivation, foraging, mycology, these are the things that I'm most passionate about, because the thing about mycology is that it could be a mushroom growing in your backyard that science don't know shit about. So the medicinal usage of that fungi growing in your backyard could be something life changing. And these particular concepts is what have created religion and spirituality. Taking a psychedelic substance and expanding your mind to perceive the spiritual realm. That's how it all started. This is how we can verify spiritual things. So I just want y'all to take part. I'm doing a 25% off sale. Coupon code Santa. You can hit that at the when you check out www.whiterabbitpsych.com. Get what you need to get. When you check out, enter the promo code Santa, you will save 25%. Now, once we get off this promo code, it's going to be different, right? I got to start charging shipping charges because I've been getting my head whacked over the head, for the past 2 years, paying for everybody's shipping. So, up until December 25th, get free shipping and save 25%. Because once December 25th is over, you will never ever be able to say you was able to get it like you getting it now. So, spend your, you know what I'm saying? Spend your Christmas holiday on some festive shit. Order today, we'll ship tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, appreciate all of the support. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I do want to support my business, but I also want to provide content that's going to help people understand the world that we live in, understand things from a spiritual perspective. So the videos that I reacted to today were videos that was DM'd to me, sent to me on Twitter. But if you on Twitter, follow me on Hood Mystic, send me some videos. If you on IG, DM me, send me some videos, we'll react to it and we'll talk about it from a spiritual perspective. Understand though, it is a level in meditation. It is a level of clearing your thoughts, clearing your mind to get some real gnosis. The problem is you thinking that you're going to work so hard and you're going to solve your problems. Well, if you think you're going to work hard and make money and solve your problems, you are a prostitute and you are assisting in the declining of this civilization. So we need to get on some kumbaya shit, meet in the wilderness, in the forest, take some psychedelic mushrooms, and talk to God and get some real instructions. You feel me? But with that being said, y'all have a wonderful day. Thank y'all for rocking with me this afternoon. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. The Mystic is where you get that real shit from. And with that being said, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day, morning, or evening, wherever you find this video. Peace.